So I have a question for you. Do you ever wake up disappointed because you didn't stick to your commitments? Like the night before you went to bed, you were like, oh, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to go for a jog, or I'm going to get up early and meditate or work on my mindset, whatever that might be, right? And then the morning comes and you haven't done it, right? Well, please know that this struggle, right, this struggle to commit is absolutely normal, and it is something a lot of people struggle with. This could be for fitness goals, for personal projects, for productivity, or whatever that might be, right? We put these things off for a reason. There's not something that's wrong with you if you are not able to commit. Because the reality is you are able to commit, you just haven't figured out how. So if this is you, stay tuned because I'm going to be breaking this down to give you the tools and tips to help you move yourself forward. Welcome to the Be a Better You podcast. I'm your host, Allison K Dagney, a passionate women's empowerment coach dedicated to guiding you towards your highest potential. Join me each week as I dive into empowering strategies and mindset shifts to help you rise above obstacles and thrive in every aspect of your life, empowering you to reach your goals, unleash your true potential, and live life on your own terms. Learn how to unlock your inner strength with tools, tips, and techniques to transform into the best version of you. Tune in and let's embark on this journey together. Your empowerment starts now. Okay, so as you know, this week I am talking about and unpacking the idea of commitment and commitment to yourself. And this is so important for self-development, self-discovery, and being the best version of you that you can. This will help you with all different things in your life, and it will also foster a sense of self-love because thinking about when someone you know has committed to you, you often feel loved, right? So when we commit to ourselves, we foster that self-love as well. So first I wanted to unpack the idea of limiting beliefs when it comes to commitment, right? Because subconscious blocks play a huge role in keeping us from being committed, right? Committed to the things that we say that we are going to do, the things that in our mind we say we want to complete or we want to achieve. And if we aren't able to move that forward, if we aren't able to commit to those things, there's a reason why. And the reason starts in your subconscious mind. So let's talk a little bit about how this works. So if you have limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, right? Feelings of doubt, all of these things can create a lack of commitment. So as I said at the beginning, maybe you go to bed at night or you make a list the night before or you have a whole thing that you wanted to do for the week. You have these plans, right? I'm just talking about like simple stuff today, right? This can go way beyond that, and it can actually expand into bigger goals, to life goals, to commitments that you want for your entire life. However, when we're just talking about these very simple things, we have to start inside of our own minds and figuring out what it is that's in the way. So when we're talking about unpacking limiting beliefs, we have to understand really where this is coming from. Where on a subconscious level is this starting? So I want to share with you a specific example from one of my clients who, when she came to me, she literally said to me, I have no energy to do anything. All I do is go to work and come home. And in between, even on my off days, I don't do anything. And I, as I'm talking to her about this, she said, I don't really think you fully understand that I'm not even exaggerating here. Like, I don't do laundry, I don't do chores, I don't do anything. I literally just lie around. Now, I will say that there's complexity involved here, and I understand trauma and things like that are part of this entire package. However, this particular client was even struggling with doing the homework and the instructions that I gave to her week after week. Now, because of her struggle with that, the place that we first started was getting rid of the subconscious beliefs to completing the work that she needed to do in order to be able to do the things that she wanted to do. Okay? So basically what this looked like was figuring out what was going on a subconscious level as to why she wasn't even having the motivation or desire to commit to doing the work, right? So that was number one. And this happens sometimes. There are some times that people feel motivated to change aspects of their lives, to commit to things for themselves, but they can't even come up with the motivation to do the first step, which would be starting to uncover their subconscious blocks, putting things down on paper, writing it down, okay? So what we did was we created a plan, and I figured out with her help what was the most ideal time for her to be able to do the homework and to do the work that I am suggesting that she do to get her the greatest benefit. Now, this client is in my 12-week program, and when we just recently met, we had finished our 7th session together. So we're about halfway through. And she said to me that now she is helping out around the house. She lives with family, like her siblings and in-laws. And she not only was helping out, she was like encouraging other people to challenge their limiting beliefs that were keeping them stuck also. So the point I'm trying to make here is that when someone wants to make a change, when someone wants to commit to themselves, oftentimes they skip a few steps and they think, oh, I'm just going to make a decision and commit to it. But the problem with that is there are layers upon layers that have to be sifted through before you get there. And so specifically in the case of my client, we had to remove the limiting beliefs that this isn't going to work for me, nothing ever works for me, I'm not able to do this kind of thing, I don't have the motivation, I don't have the type of drive that's necessary, I'm not good enough, right? All of those things had to be cleared out first. Without that, it was pointless to try to start getting her to be able to take action in other areas, like doing simple chores around the house, right? So this could be an extreme example. Maybe you're just someone who is afraid to take action towards one of your big dreams or one of your big goals, right? So I'm using this as an example because it is a very, very basic thing, but I want you to understand that we have to start somewhere, and that somewhere means getting out of the way all of the things that are blocking you from even that first step, from even taking action to begin with. So my client's ultimate goal throughout the last 7 weeks that we've been together was to help her become more motivated, to become more committed to the things that she wanted to do. A big part of her life is her job, and it takes up a lot of time, and she is working and working and working herself to the bone. So one of her goals throughout our sessions was to be able to get to the point where she could save enough money in this particular job so that she could quit this job and get a job that was less hours. And so throughout the time that we've been working together, we've been removing the subconscious beliefs that are in the way to her being able to do that, because that's one of her bigger goals. Well, after our last session, she was so excited because she was able to take action, to go to her manager, to put her name in for a new position at a new location that's going to be less hours. And even just the look on her face and the relief and excitement that she had, because prior to that, she was feeling so unbelievably stuck in this job, working herself to death, continually showing up and feeling like she was spinning her wheels when, you know, a lot of the reason that she felt like she couldn't do the things that she wanted to do in her daily life was because she was so bogged down with work and so many hours that she was putting in. So now we're actually taking little baby steps, and we're removing these subconscious blocks and helping her get to the point where she can actually achieve this particular goal. Now, my client, she definitely has been working the process. She definitely has been clearing these emotional blocks and these subconscious beliefs that are in her way. And this is what I fully attribute to her being able to take this action and feeling so much differently, because your emotions and how you feel are what is going to drive the behavior. But the emotions don't just come out of nowhere. They come from the subconscious. They come from the beliefs and the programming that you have held since the day you were born, and potentially even beyond that into toxic or traumatic relationships that have created a level of conditioning to hold you back. So what a lot of people believe is that if you're just motivated enough, you can make these things happen. Or if you just follow these 10 steps, you'll be able to make your dreams come true. The problem with these things is that no one's ever talking about the role of the subconscious mind and how big of an impact it actually has on you being able to commit to things. And that is the part that's lacking. So if you right now were to go out to Google and type in like, how do I start a business in coaching, let's say. If you did that, you would find all kinds of information. There would be step-by-step processes. You could check ChatGPT. It would give you all kinds of details. You could ask someone else. You could message me and I could tell you what I've done, right? There's lots of ways that we can get the information. The problem isn't the access to the information, right? Because anybody has access to the information. The problem is not taking into account the subconscious beliefs that are a huge part of this equation, right? Because if you want to start a business, let's say you want to start a coaching business, and you are all gung-ho about it, you really want to help people, you know that you have the skills and abilities to do it, you've been told by people you're so helpful and you should be a coach or whatever that is, right? You feel good about it. But why is it that you can't commit to certain things or take action? And the reason isn't because there's something wrong with you, isn't because you don't know how to execute. It's because of the subconscious beliefs that are blocking you. So think about it like if you are driving along a road and your destination is way out into the future and you can see it, and you can see that vision of what you want and that coaching business and flourishing in your life and all the things that you want. And all of a sudden you see this giant boulder in the way and there's no way to get around it. That is basically the same thing as a subconscious block. If we have something like that in our way, we're not going to be able to get to the destination. So what would be a subconscious block that you could have if you were trying to do something like this, as I'm using as an example? Well, let's say that you are really afraid of public speaking. Let's say you really have had a deep fear of public speaking. Well, fear is an emotion, right? But that fear comes from a belief. And the belief could be, right, lots of different things. But let's say that when you were a child, you got up in front of an audience and you delivered a speech and you froze and everyone laughed, right? Well, you're going to store that in your subconscious mind as like, people are going to laugh at me. Nobody's going to take me seriously. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I can't think clearly. I can't speak clearly, right? All of these things are stored in your subconscious mind, like a big storage room. And so if a belief like that was coming up for you, your brain, try to keep you safe, because that's the goal, is to keep you feeling safe. And if you are believing things like I just mentioned, your brain says this isn't safe, so you can't be doing this. So you won't commit to doing it, right? So the only way to actually commit to doing it is to remove those subconscious beliefs. And you might be asking, well, like, how do I do that? Well, that's what I do with my clients. We figure out what the subconscious beliefs are because they're going to be different for you as opposed to someone else, right? They're all going to be different. There are some that are very common for people. However, your subconscious beliefs aren't going to be the exact same as mine or anyone else's. So we figure out what those are first, and then we run them through my 4-step process that I have been taught through the ThoughtWork Institute that has helped hundreds of thousands of people, myself included, and all my clients, where you reprogram your subconscious mind and the neural pathways that create those emotions of things like fear. So that's the most amazing part about this, is that it's totally possible to change these things so that you can commit, right? The only thing standing in your way are these blocks. The only thing you have to do is, number one, figure out what they are and then reprogram them, right? So this is a very simple 4-step process that I use, but it's complex in the fact that there are a lot of nuanced things that will come up as you are bringing up all of those subconscious beliefs. Now, I just want to remind you that a subconscious belief is basically just anything that you've been believing your whole life that is not 100% true for 100% of people 100% of the time. I say this a lot on this podcast, but if this is the first time that you're listening, that's basically what a subconscious belief is. Now, a block is something that's in the way of you being able to commit to what you want to commit to, right? Or a block could even be something that keeps you stuck in a cycle of fear, or keeps you stuck in a cycle of sadness or guilt or whatever emotion, right? Those blocks are there because your brain wants to keep you feeling safe and it's trying to protect you. So even though you're like, yeah, but I really want to be doing these things, it doesn't matter because your brain in the subconscious part of your mind is running 95% of the show. So it's like having a tug of war, right? If you got 95 people on one side, all of equal, let's say, weight and height, and 5 on the other side of all of equal weight and height, the 95 is going to win every single time. So why wouldn't we be working in the area that has the most power, which is the subconscious, right? And so that's what I do, and that's how I help people with this. Okay, so before we get into the strategies for overcoming these blocks, I did want to let you know that I have recently decided to add 3 new ways that you can work with me. So previously, I had only been offering my 12-week coaching program, that one-on-one program. And I realized that because I've been adding new things to the programs that I use and the tools to help you, I wanted to offer some different options. So the first one is a straight up discovery package. It is a human design reading with 1 week of Voxer support, and that will be really tailored to whatever you're struggling with or whatever you need support with, that is specifically related to your personal human design. So we'd get 1 hour together plus a full week of Voxer coaching afterwards, and that package is $297. The other option, I have 2 more. The next one is the transformation package, which is 5 sessions one-on-one with me on a Zoom call with that Voxer support in between those sessions. You're getting the human design reading and all of that coaching, plus you're also getting subconscious reprogramming coaching to each of those sessions. And that package is $897. And then the third option that I created is a 9-week package called Empowerment, which includes not only the human design, just like the other 2, not only the subconscious reprogramming like the transformation, but also includes EFT tapping support. So you're still going to get those 1 hour Zoom calls in each of these, plus the Voxer support, and that is unlimited support in my regular business hours. So the reason I wanted to do this is because I know that a lot of people want to do this kind of coaching, but maybe have some hesitations, you're not sure, whatever. But the one thing I want to tell you about me is that my repeat client rate is 66%. That means 2 out of 3 people who work with me renew and they re-up with additional coaching. And this, I believe, is because they've gotten such great results. They want to keep working, they want to keep the momentum going and have that accountability with a coach. So if any of these options are something that you want to do, or if you've been thinking about working with me and you just kind of maybe would like to try it out, test it out, you can send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook. You can email me even at Allison@WhenTearsLeaveScars. All of this stuff is also on my website if you want to go look at it and see those specific details. But again, I still offer my 12-week program, the intensive human design, subconscious reprogramming, EFT, and a lot of other tools. But these other ways I decided to kind of break out individually in case you want something more specific or maybe a shorter thing or something that you want to just kind of test it out and see if it works for you. So there's 3 packages of the discovery, the transformation, and empowerment. One is 1 session with 1 week of Voxer. The second is 5 sessions, and the third is 9. So if this is something that you're interested in, then check it out on my website or send me a message or an email, and I'd be happy to give you more information. All right, so let's get into these strategies for overcoming the blocks to commitment. Okay, so there are a lot of ways that you can get to your subconscious mind, figure out what the limiting beliefs are, and also pinpoint the blocks. Now, there are simple ways and there are more complex ways. So one of the most easy way, I guess I should say, to figure out what your subconscious beliefs are is through writing or like venting. So imagine if you were talking to a friend and they said, what is actually keeping you from going all in on your business or showing up on social media or dating again or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve as far as a goal for your life. And your response is going to give you the clues. So things that you might say would be, well, I just can't seem to stay consistent. I am afraid people are going to judge me. Maybe they won't like me, right? Lots and lots of these different things. All the things that you would say are fair game to be inspected as beliefs. Because remember, all a belief is something that is not 100% true for 100% of people 100% of the time. So, if not everyone would even agree with that, then it's just a belief that you're holding in your subconscious mind based on your programming, based on the things that you've experienced in your lifetime, that you've just been carrying with you like baggage all day long, day in, day out. These are just things that you've been carrying along with you in your mind. Another way that you can figure out what these are is through checking your human design. Now, if you are a beginner in human design and you're not familiar with it, you can always go out to my website in the resources link and get your free human design reading. But the thing to know is that there are a lot of very complex things that show up on a conscious and unconscious level in your human design chart. So if you're not familiar with human design, then you may need somebody who knows what they're doing and looking at that chart, somebody like me, to help you interpret those things, to figure out what those subconscious blocks might be on a unconscious level that is embedded into the blueprint of your soul. And you can figure those things out by reading through your human design or having someone interpret your chart for you. The other way that you can do this is through tapping. If you're not familiar with EFT, which is the emotional freedom technique, then what you can do is you can Google it, you can look up videos on tapping, but basically what tapping does is it starts with an emotion and you tap on different meridian points on your body, around your face, and then like on your collarbone, under the arm. There's different meridian points that help you bring up those subconscious beliefs. So if you're having an emotion like fear or anger or whatever, then you start to tap on those meridian points at the same time as you're bringing up different feelings and thoughts that are going through your mind. And what happens is through the course of the rotations of doing this continually over and over for 10, 15, 20 minutes or however long that you're doing it, then what happens is you start to release some of those subconscious beliefs or bring more to the surface that you weren't even aware of that were even inside of your own mind. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. And I use a combination of these things with my clients for whichever is going to be the most helpful or the best suited to each individual person. In my 12-week program, we get even deeper and we do different sort of like meditative exercises to help you figure out what those subconscious blocks or beliefs might be. And that is extremely powerful as well. So again, like there's lots and lots of ways that you can do this. Having someone help you might be easier for you, or even like I said, going to look up the unconscious areas of your human design chart, or YouTubing tapping videos or learning about tapping. Those kinds of things can also help you too. And then once you figure out what they are, then you're more empowered to be able to change those things and start to rewire the programs that have been driving your behaviors, because those programs are just so similar to like how a computer is programmed. A brand new computer has to have instructions and code to know what to do and how to operate. And you're no different. Your subconscious mind has been programmed in such a way to help you experience the world, to develop your personality traits. And when the world shows up differently than what you've been programmed with or what you believe the world should be, and when I say world, I also mean like things about yourself, things about other people, society, all those things. When that shows up differently from your programmings and what your programming says, that's when those negative emotions start to come in. So if you don't believe that you're capable of sticking to something long enough to see it through, then of course you're going to feel a certain type of emotion when other people are doing it. You might start feeling like you're not good enough or you're unworthy. And then it just kind of snowballs and it creates more negativity and then more limiting things and more subconscious blocks that are in your way. So the really important thing is to get a grip on it early, to get a handle on it and start reprogramming those things that have been leading the way probably your entire life. So if this is something that you would like help with and support with to help you, then you can always reach out to me and I will give you more details and information. You're obviously listening to this podcast, so you are here to better and improve yourself, which is wonderful and commendable. So one thing that I wanted to highlight before we wrap up here is that committing to yourself, right? Because this is all about commitment to yourself in improving your life, in feeling more satisfied, and, in attempts to achieve the goals that you are out to achieve. This piece, this commitment piece, is transformational to make that happen. It is the bridge, right, between what you say you want and what you're going to get, or what your aims are. And without that bridge of commitment, nothing is going to happen. But most people don't realize that that commitment part isn't just saying you're going to do it, because that's willpower, and willpower only runs 5%. So like I said before, you can't win a battle of 95 up against 5%. So it's better and makes a lot more sense to be working with the subconscious part of your brain to help you become stronger to create that commitment. Because it's not that you're not committed. It's not that you don't want to make things happen. It's not that you can't stick to it or you're not consistent enough, right? That's actually not what's creating a lack of commitment. What's creating a lack of commitment are the beliefs behind it, the things that are creating the behavior to not commit, to not stick to it, to not be consistent, to wake up in the morning and not do what you said you would do, doesn't come from the fact that you're not capable. It comes from the fact that there is a subconscious belief that is getting in the way. And that subconscious belief is there because for some reason in your past, it was safer for you to do what you're doing now. For whatever reason, maybe it feels safer for you not to put yourself out there, because if you put yourself out there, then you could be rejected, right? Or if you put yourself out there, then maybe you're actually going to have to commit to it. and you're going to have to show up for people consistently every single day, and that scares you for some reason. Or maybe if it's that you want to have better health and you want to get up and exercise and work out, that scares you, because at the peak of your health and wellness, that means that you're going to be more attractive to other people, and maybe that scares you, right? These are all kinds of things that I've heard from other clients. And so it's going to be unique to you. It's going to be very specialized, individualized for your subconscious beliefs. But that's why it's so important to get really intimate with yourself and really ask yourself those questions, and meditate if you have to, or journal, whatever it needs to be, to figure out what is it that I actually believe that's keeping me from being able to commit, keeping me from being able to move towards my goals and achieve what I want to achieve. And I want to remind you that this stuff is not for the faint of heart, right? You have to be really willing to look at yourself. You have to be really willing to pull back the weeds of what could possibly be scary and uncomfortable. But I'm telling you, if you do this, you will be in such a better space. You will be in such a better emotional state of being, and you will be able to take action because you no longer have these blocks in the way. So practice committing to yourself, not by just setting a goal and saying, oh, every morning for the next 30 days, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. Now, does this work? Yes, because habits are formed, and when habits are formed, they create new neural pathways, which then create automatic patterns for your life. So there is science behind that, of course. The problem is, for most people, they can't stick to it that long. And the reason they can't stick to it is because of the subconscious beliefs that are blocking them from being able to do so. So if you're somebody who's like, I can't stick to anything for more than 2 weeks, or I can't be consistent, or I'm not able to do this or that or the other for the long haul, or whatever it is, right? If you find that you keep getting stuck and you're repeating these patterns over and over again, and you just are like, well, this just must be me, this just must be who I am, I'm here to tell you that it's something inside your subconscious mind that's blocking you. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you're interested in any of the other ways to work with me, in the 3 other options that I have, the discovery package, transformation, or empowerment, I have those options for you. Go out to my website, check it out at whentearsleavescars.com. And if you have any questions, always reach out to me. Let me know. I'm here to help you and here to serve you for your highest good, to be the best version of you that you can. So thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next week.